Hey everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this knife. Do you know what knife this is? You probably don't, because this is a prototype, and this was sent to me by CRKT to take a look at. This is a knife designed by Flavio Icoma, a Brazilian knife maker who's collaborated with CRKT a lot, and it is called the No Time Off. This is a flipper knife, and it has caged bearings. It uses the IKBS system, because this is, after all, an Icoma knife, and he invented the IKBS system. As you can see, it's quite stout. It's very, very thick. The blade stock is thick. The knife is thick. And it has this really clever guard or extra stop blade safety for the liner lock. But unlike the auto locks or the locks that CRKT uses, if you hit this right, it closes with no additional movement. Instead of doing the normal push like this, and sort of over on a liner lock, if you just add a little bit of downward to your thumb, it'll disengage the Icoma lock safety. The ILS is what they're calling this. It'll disengage the Icoma lock safety, and it'll close the liner lock at the same time. And once you're used to it, and it doesn't take very long to get used to it, it is a mindless process. You basically have to screw it up. If you go like this, it's not going to disengage. If you just put a little bit of downward action, it lifts up the lever. Let's see if I can get a picture of it. It'll lift up this lever like that, and that goes over, and then that allows you to disengage the lock. But because of the way they have it positioned in the lock, all you have to do is just use one fluid action and it closes. It's really quite ingenious. I'm not 100% sold on its necessity, but it is a much better system than the locks and the auto locks. So this knife, the No Time Off is what it's called. It is a very thick and robust knife. It runs a new steel for CRKT, a steel I really like, called BD1, which is a carpenter steel. And BD1 is similar to, its composition is similar to AUS 8. The one thing that I found when I had it on the Spyderco Manix Lightweight was that it was a really nice, easy blade to maintain. It ran about 57-58 on the Rockwell scale, but it sharpened quite easily. So it's a little bit harder than AUS 8. It's sort of around VG10, but it's much easier to sharpen than VG10. It's like probably the same difficulty to sharpen as like AUS 8. A couple things that are really interesting about this knife, in addition to the fact that it runs a new steel, that it has the bearing pivot, this lock system, is that it has a couple of other features that I really like. So this knife is really almost certainly or exclusively designed as a work knife. Like, take this to the job site and you can use this knife to cut open whatever you need. You need to cut open a bag of cement mix, this is fine. You need to score a piece of wood to put up some studs for a house, this is fine. This is a great work knife. It's a really heavy duty. It's very heavy. It's 5.9 ounces, which is probably too heavy for my preferences on an EDC. But as a work knife, it's quite nice. Here's another feature that makes me think it's a work knife. This pocket clip is really low profile. It's an over-the-top pocket clip. It's a new design for CRKT. I actually quite like it. But the one thing that this pocket clip does that very few other pocket clips do, it absolutely disappears in your hand. There is like no hot spots here. It is so flat. If you look at it, I mean, it's just barely above the surface of the knife. And what they did was they milled a slot in. You can see it there. They milled a slot in to sort of recess the clip below or at the surface of the knife. And the end result is you can use this knife on really hard tasks, like really wrenching tasks, and the clip generates no hot spot whatsoever. So if you're using this knife every day, all day, to like cut open bags of cement or to score stuff for cutting or to cut through drywall, your hand is almost not going to notice the position of the clip because of the way that the clip has been recessed into the handle. It's a really clever design, a really clever touch, and something that tells me that this knife is designed to be used a lot. It has stainless steel liners, as you can see. The stainless steel liners aren't milled out. They could be milled out. I mean, this knife is just massively heavy. But in the role of a true work knife, not a tactical knife, not an EDC knife, in the role of a true work knife, I don't think that's a big deal. I think that you could just, basically put this on your belt or a pocket instead of a box cutter. A couple other features that tell me that this is a work knife, aside from the lock safety and the recessed pocket clip. The shape of the blade. If you look here, the blade shape is really quite nice. Let's see if we can get it to focus. There we go. It has a pronounced belly. It's really wide and tall, so it can give you a very thin grind. But it also has no recurve, so it should be easier to sharpen. Then there's this real true forward finger choil right there. It gives you a little bit of extra control. And so this is a way that you could use the knife, if you want a little bit of control. Obviously you can use it like this. You can get a full 4-finger grip there. You can choke up there and give it a little bit more. But if you really want to go at material, you can use this little extra sort of divot in the top of the knife, the spine of the knife that has jimping in it, and you can get all the way, you can choke up all the way there so that you're really on top of the material, and that gives you a bunch of extra control. Another indication that this is a work knife. So this is the prototype for the CRKT No Time Off, and it's a knife that is a very interesting knife, very different from a lot of knives on the market. Has a lot of new innovative touches, has a new steel for CRKT, a steel I really like. So look for this. They're going to announce it at SHOT Show, which is January 22nd. I think it starts January 22nd, 2015. And obviously a review of this will be coming.